Good evening. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP. Greetings from the Institute of Global Professional IGP. Thank you all for joining us and staying with us till the end. Honorable Knowledge Seeker, today I am your host for the evening. My name is Badhum Das. I am from Bangladesh. Dear Knowledge Seeker, I am proud to be associated with IGP. IGP is a social and IS certified international education and training institute. In last 3 years, we already served 35 million plus knowledge seekers from 100 plus countries. IGP is internationally recognized and globally accredited. We are connected to more than 450 plus profession and 4,500 plus organizations. Institute of Global Professional is an education institute that provides social work globally recognized and reportable. We serve student community resource providing holistic social work and education. We believe that it's not effective to increase one skill just by offering formal education. So we provide effective training and consultation to generate professional generation all over the world. We distribute our services locally, nationally, internationally to students, job seeker, job holder, and also for learner to respective campus location. And this is one of the famous online institutes from all over the world. Our vision is education is not a business product; it's a part of our human rights. Based on our vision, we are trying to reach all corners of the world for free webinars, seminar courses, our quiz competition, mentoring, and counseling, etc. On the other side, we are also trying to offer more than 100 premium services for free, like your own portfolio website, resume builder, cover letter, motivation letter, and wow knowledge platform for gathering general knowledge which can update all day. Kids learning game, website, free course, converse sites, and many more. We help to empower you to learn to meet their expectation and even become highly skilled people. We implement several training program, webinar and offline online courses for youth and learner by professional trainer, speaker and coaches. Our sessions are conducted by globally renowned professionals to develop all kind of youth and to promote the education of their abilities and personalities. Spreading knowledge is crucial for the Institute of Global Professional. We believe that knowledge is love and light and vision. So we try to understand the needs of today's generation and will serve them with good research and practice methods. We must have a genuine concern for the learner we represent. More diversity, growth, and innovation are required to lead a session with professionalism, passion, and integrity. IGP members are committed to offering effective base quality service and continual improvement so that individuals who seek information can improve their skill level and value. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Before we move to the next, let me remind don't forget to share, tag, and mention your friend in the comment box. Your support is very valuable for us. Thank you. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we already completed 1,811 webinars successfully. Moving to the next, with your continuous support, we already completed 1,811 webinars successfully. Dear RGP speaker, participant, and well-wisher, at this moment, this is a very important message for you all. We change and design our website www.edurgp.com. On this website, we have surprise for everyone. Hope you will be benefited. We already launched our new website where you can find all our previous activities together with lots of new features. But one strong point is that without an account or login, you cannot enjoy our service. So create an account for once with profile information. Note that with profile information, you will enjoy our feature with mismatched data. You cannot do anything here. On our website, we replace that. You have to join directly on our website. Now we can check all of our previous webinars with verified e-certificate. Now it's easier and time oriented because after the session we will not provide you any code for certification. You have to take part in one exam. After that, if you pass, you will receive your certificate. Otherwise, not. But you can take part in an IGP speaker. You can download all your previous certificate speakers. Quiz competition winner. Then you can download a certificate of lifetime membership easily. Besides this, if you participate in any award function which organizes common support with IGP, you can download it also. You can instantly prepare and download 18 times to receive certificate from our website within a minute. Certificate of Global Professional Membership, Certificate of Global Influence in the Pandemic, Certificate of Active Knowledge Seeker, Certificate of Social Activities in the Pandemic, Certificate of Achievement IGP Knowledge Seeking Campaign 2020, 2021 and 2022, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 1, Authentic Assessment in Teaching Learning, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 2, Teaching English as Foreign Language and Assessment, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 3, Digital Customer Engagement Tools, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series for the New Trend in Education, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 5, Upskilling Leadership and Managerial Skills, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 6, Trend and Innovation in Mathematics Education, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 7, Research Comprehension Approach, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 8, Art in Teaching a Special Program in the Arts, Certificate of Participation Webinar Series 9, 21st Century Tool in Teaching Mathematics, Certificate of IGP Corporate Ambassador, Certificate of IGP Campus Ambassador, which you can prepare and download within a minute. From now on, can participate in 1000+ international level course with verified certificate. Teaching tips for teacher, health tips for parents, solutions for teens, education tools for teacher. You can join IGP Alumni. You can check out our previous freelance services website for free and many more. Dear IGP well-wisher, we promised previously, but lack of technical problem, we are late sending you on time. This is a great opportunity to collect your previous condition. We solve all issues from our website. Now you can enroll, reset password, everything. You can check your dashboard for all webinar details. It's a cordial request to check all button and pages on our website. You like and serve will benefited. Thank you, but note that without an account or login, you cannot enjoy our service. At present, we are going to start our 1812 program, which name is Virtual Reality Learning, a Game Changer. And today our speaker ma'am name is Rani Alampau. She is from Greece. Before I hand over the speech to our speaker ma'am, wants to share a very little bit about her. Ministry of Education, Religious Affairs, Greece. Global Educationist, author, speaker, research, global speech ambassador, IGP director, Greece. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Now, very important moment for me to invite our speaker to IGP with her presentation. Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening to all our audience and to you, an amazing host as always. So thank you very much for the introduction. I'm very honored and very happy to participate in another webinar, as I'm doing, every month with Institute of Global Professionals. You're doing an incredible job. So keep up the great work, and we will support you. So now we'll share my presentation, if you allow me.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see now my presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the stage is here. You can continue the presentation now.
Can you see also the change of slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So today we're going to see to help explore how and when and if virtual reality can be a game changer, especially we talk about education, because already virtual reality has many applications everywhere. Medicine, culture, architecture, tourism, entertainment. I think it's something that allows us to cross boundaries that would otherwise be unimaginable. So especially we talk about nowadays the availability of virtual reality systems have a good quality, have affordable prices. So their progressive adoption by the public, all this have paved the way for the proliferation of many VR tools and platforms. Healthcare, media mentioned before, and the military also domain. We can see how the training simulated combat environments, and the industry, the digital twins are these digital copies of physical objects that workers can practice on and test in the virtual world. In business also, talk about business, the job training, how this is used for training, for soft skills training also, for training in risky situations. And we talk about healthcare, virtual surgeries are becoming more and more common. Social platforms, we know, such as VR Chat or Rec Room, allow users to embody in an avatar and get immersed in a three-dimensional virtual environment when actually people can hang out, can chat, can play games together in apparent physical proximity. So all these social VR apps could be especially well suited to foster feelings of social connection among users. And of course, this potential was proved particularly beneficial in context of social distancing, lockdown, public spaces, obligation to stay home. So all these amazing tools, this dates back to Sensorama to 1950. I think more or less well familiarized with this. And what is virtual reality? It's a computer-generated environment with scenes and objects that appear to be real. And this environment makes us feel that we are immersed in our surroundings. For this, we need a headset or helmet. This allows to immerse ourselves, for instance, in video games, as if we were one of the characters. We learn how to perform, for instance, I had said during mentioned before, how to improve the quality of sport training in order to maximize performance. So although this some years before seemed extremely futuristic, I mentioned that the first virtual reality devices was this one, Sensorama, a machine with a built-in seat that played 3D movies, gave off odors, and generated vibrations to make the experience as vivid as possible. Subsequent technological and software developments over the following years brought with them a progressive evolution, both in devices and interface design. Now, there is usually confusion with the terms 360. Actually, it's a type of VR, which is most commonly used in education, and with these real-world locations are captured with specialist cameras and equipment. The VR content that can be viewed on VR headset or projected onto walls in what we know as immersive classrooms. We're going to analyze all this. And of course, this is used to teach students about the world around them. So these terms are usually used as synonyms, but there are important differences because 360-degree photos and videos are panoramic pics and videos that have been stitched together. So you can turn your head to look around you, but there aren't virtual worlds with 360. You don't have a free movement to explore them as you do in full virtual reality experiences. And usually VR devices offer a mixture of both. You can watch 360 videos or explore virtual worlds. 360 videos usually can feel immersive, but they lack a certain number of elements that could make VR feel real. VR involves specially constructed spaces and objects. On the other hand, 360-degree videos are created from a series of two-dimensional images that are stitched together. And when we talk about video, with the case of 360-degree video, when we move our head, this will not affect our viewing perspective. On the other hand, in 3D VR, you can change your perspective and your position. So for 3D VR, creators can use what we call 6 degrees of freedom. On the other hand, can be used only 3 degrees of freedom. So the main difference is that VR builds a world in which we can immerse ourselves through a specific headset. So it's something which is fully immersive because everything we see is a part of an environment which is artificially constructed. And in augmented reality, a world becomes the framework within which object images or similar are placed. So everything we see is in a real environment, may not be strictly necessary to wear a headset. So while virtual reality, it's about immersing you in an entirely virtual world viewed through a screen in your headset, the real world outside you isn't part of the experience. On the other hand, augmented reality is about augmenting or adding reality to reality. For instance, you might be looking at your cat or up your street, but there could be digital characters and content overlaid on them. And other difference is that AR uses a real-world setting, while VR is a completely virtual. AI users can control the presence in the real world. VR users are controlled by the system. VR requires a headset device that AR can be accessed with a smartphone AR enhances both the virtual and real world, while VR only enhances a fictional reality. AR is used on a smart device to project. We'll talk about education. We're going to see all this later. Anyways, is used on a smart device to project a layer of educational text or lesson-appropriate content on top of a user's actual surroundings, providing students with interactive and meaningful learning experiences. And there are many apps and many digital tools that we can leverage. So VR creates an entirely digital environment and 360-degree immersive user experiences that feels real. And in VR setting, students can interact with what we see as if they were real there. So we talk about how this can inspire students' creativity, can spark their imagination, can motivate them to explore new academic interests, and also, this is very important, helps students to understand difficult academic concepts, for instance, talk about biology or anatomy or physics. For example, through AR, geometry students can check out 3D geometric forms from multiple perspectives. They can rotate a shape, see it from different angles, or even view it from the inside. The benefits of virtual reality in education, of course, go beyond academics, because they include also cultural competencies. We're going to see how these new VR apps help students with learning disabilities or students with autism to improve their social skills, the ability to understand another person's culture and values, and the case of behavioral skills, because VR and AR gives the possibility to work on less risky situations, to simulate hazardous environments. So this gives us this great possibility. And let's not forget the virtual reality field trips that have amazing opportunities. When we have a combination of both realities, it's called mixed reality, this hybrid technology. It's possible, thanks to this, to see objects in the real world and build an experience in which the physical and digital are practically indistinguishable. Nowadays we talk about metaverse. So in metaverse, real and virtual worlds are fused using tools like VR, augmented reality, describing a vision of a linked 3D digital global AR. So this technology, we could say that this constitutes an interplay between aspects of both AR and VR, because some people asked me, metaverse is VR or AR, things like that. A metaverse app is expected to have a semblance of space and time, which is similar to the real world. Interactions in the physical world could be visual, auditory, and dynamic in nature. And the metaverse is, of course, a vision of what many in the computer industry believe it's the next version of the internet. A single, shared, immersive, persistent, and 3D virtual space where humans experience life in ways that could not in the physical world. So all these metaverse platforms allow users to interact with or without VR in the environment, because the metaverse is an emerging and evolving market, usually users do not have now to invest in costly VR hardware to explore and experience the metaverse. And this is related also to AI, artificial intelligence, and the AI-driven world. So all this industry of virtual reality, where it's based, the VR system is a sophisticated, we could say, multimedia environment in which users are exposed to and can participate in tactile or visual experiences. And these experiences are created by usually a computer system to which are attached special types of peripheral device, enabling users to interact with the real and artificial objects. Degrees of realism, because as individuals, we exist in a world that continually presents us with new experiences. One way of learning to deal appropriately with them is to generate them artificially. Many areas of education benefit from the use of what we call pseudo situations, which enable students to learn in a risk-free environment. Examples of available techniques include role-playing, model simulations, synthetic actors, microworlds, artificial reality kits. Each of these techniques allows a different degree of realism to be achieved. And this is why attract us, because they allow us to go beyond the limits of what is real. Virtual reality is related with many terms and definitions. Books and other literature use a range of this terminology. I think the most important one are artificial reality, virtual reality, cyberspace, DECA. When we talk about cyberspace, it is a global artificial reality that can be visited by millions of people at the same time. Cyberspace, usually, according to Walser, is a form of theater which can be regarded as a computer-based simulation that enables groups of people to play roles of characters in cybernetic simulations of three-dimensional worlds. So we talk about theater, characters, avatars. It's a gateway through which people are transported to cyberspace. And all this has to do with the quality of experience. Because the quality of a VR system can be measured in terms of its distance from a real environment. Usually this depends on two factors, what we call decoeconomics, and the second one, psychosemantics. When we talk about decoeconomics, this has to do with issues such as how comfortable the VR equipment is to wear, and the physical and mental effects this might have on the human body. For instance, very recently, there are many concerns, for instance, in the European Union, in schools in many countries, about how VR affects negatively the eyesight, and how children actually do not have the same performance as they had before. It's something that has influenced the performance of students. This is something that we're going to analyze later. It's about the European Union, all these concerns about especially VR in education. So the first one is this, and the second one has to do with what we call psychosemantics. This concerns the quality and meaning of artificial worlds. So issues such as the ways in which the brain handles illusion and the problems of dissonance that may arise as a result of experiences in different cyberspace environments. From a historical point of view, I've seen that 5 major technologies have influenced VR, and all will continue, of course, to do so. Remote control television, 3D graphics, 3D human-computer interfaces. And VR technologies have and will have undoubtedly a significant impact over the next decade in terms of the potential benefits that can bring to people, especially disabled people, in learning new kinds of sensory, cognitive experience, kind of communication aids, training facilities, various kinds of spin-off development. So one of the most attractive features is that it's a learning tool because it has the ability to display objects and situations that are not normally visible to humans, to enable humans to interact with them. For instance, if you can see the photo, people can reach out to touch the atoms of a complex molecule. And this, of course, can convert a wheelchair into a vehicle capable of allowing to explore, for instance, virtual cities anywhere in the world. So this creates new experiences because our ability to encounter new types of physical and cognitive experience depends on our capability, on ambulatory capability, and the power of the perceptual tools that we have available. So VR can provide mobility in situations where there may be immobility, and through the use of special effects, we can create sensations. And so this can provide a wide range of new experiences. So new communication tools, because we have new types of technology for sensing body movement, for stimulating the senses of sight, sound, and touch. For instance, the data globe and body, but this would have already been used in many applications, This we could say that each individual have now access to private language that can be mapped to one or more commonly accepted public language systems. Then facilities, because VR systems are becoming more and more an important knowledge and skill tool in order to train people. We talk about business, how this is used in order to train on soft skills, but also complex and difficult tasks. It is used in order to drive a car, to pilot an aeroplane, to perform delicate surgical operations, but at the same time help to practice interpersonal skills such as public speaking, interviewing, group discussion, understanding, reading foreign languages, and provide also rehabilitation environments in which we can redevelop basic cognitive and motor skills, especially after a traumatic experience. And of course, spin-off areas, because this, if we talk about Data Globe are an important part of many other VR systems in other domains. So these spin-off developments can be a way of broadening the application base for a product, and this means reducing the price which is addressed to end users. What is virtual reality learning? Virtual reality learning is taking off actually in education. With an increasing number of schools adopting technology, VR allows students to experience destinations from across the world without even having to leave the classroom. So in order to control, of course, and adapt the situations according to the learner's needs, we need to follow these points, to consider these points. First of all, diagnose erroneous concepts in dynamic learning profiling. The general idea is to be able to detect erroneous behavior, and try to associate this behavior with errors in knowledge of the wrong application. This is usually implemented by smart trainers, and these types of approaches can be used to diagnose this: generative approach and evaluative approach. Generative approach consists of generating the solution to the given problem, and evaluative approach is based on what is called the constraint-oriented approach, where the trainer verifies how far the learner respects certain conditions. So this has to do also with what we call assistance or feedback, may be offered to allow the learner to adopt reflexive learning. And how we can do this? You can use certain functionalities of VR. For instance, slow down the scene, speed it up, changing the point of view, look through obstacles, ask for sensory reinforcement or substitution. All these kind of assistance are main part of functionalities of VR. How to control scenarios. This has to do with how we design and orchestrate situations and narratives. Narratives that could help students to learn better, so to verify their skills, to reinforce the skills or develop new skills. But this is a paradox, because if we control the scenarios, where is the freedom of action? So freedom of action is not compatible usually with control. This is what we call the narrative paradox. This is the position between interactivity and narration. Nowadays, more and more apps using VR try to give the player greater capacity for action, but at the same time, not interfere with the script prepared by the author. So give more and more freedom. This is the trend now to users. So many, of course, advantages when we use VR in teaching. We have already mentioned some of them. Of course, the removal of risk to humans, the use of material that is rare, difficult to access, no costly material. Be able somehow to control the learning environment, but at the same time give a certain point of freedom. Group learning also. Especially we talk about remote participants, which helps to moderate the behavior of fictional co-workers. Realistically reproduce elements of real life, which is another great advantage. So can give learners understanding of certain aspects of the experience that they can later transfer in the real life authentic situations. These situations are much more flexible than real situations. Why? Because they have the possibility to simulate real conditions in the less risky environment, risk-free environment, control specific parameters, the reusability, adaptability of scenarios, reversibility of actions, the ability to modify situations. And we all know, I mentioned before, that usually these apps do not have pedagogical control. This is now the role of teachers and how they will use this kind of tools. Of course, all these apps are being improved every day, but the role of teacher here is important when we talk about pedagogical control. So virtual reality can improve, of course, education by providing students with memorable immersive experience. It's accessible to students, can be easily monitored by teachers. Virtual experiences have the power to engage and inspire students in a unique and powerful way. Because this way VR provides students opportunity to learn through experience, or talk about experiential learning, in contrast to traditional methods of reading and writing. Being able to see and experience extraordinary locations is completely unique. It's inspirational to students. It's something that sparks imagination, because students are transported out of the classroom and their imagination is allowed to flourish. It engages students also, because many students get bored, we all know, with classic teaching methods. So this can attract students' attention. Promotes peer interaction, because students are encouraged to interact with each other and they are eager to share their thoughts and discuss their experiences. Provides realistic travel experiences, so schools can save time and money while providing students with incredible experience. We talk about museums and we talk about monuments all around the world. And it's inclusive. Why? Because every student gets the same opportunity to enjoy the experience. Unlike traditional school trips that can be expensive for parents or too impractical for some children, VR is for all students. And it's something that the students will always remember. So virtual reality can be used actually to enhance student learning engagement, can transform the way educational content is delivered in works on a premise of creating a virtual world, real or imagined, and allows users not only see it, but also interact with it. Because when we are immersed in what we are learning, motivates us to fully understand it. This is normal, and this will require less cognitive load to process the information. So what are some few properties that makes virtual reality in education so powerful? It gives, when students read about something, they often want to experience it. So with VR, they can explore the topic, they can see how things are put together. So students can learn about the subject by living it. And this feeling engages the mind in a way that is remarkable. So it gives us better sense of place. Technologies, for instance, such as science labs, are amazing because they allow students to understand how things work on practical experiences. So a VR device can even act as a whole science lab. But such technologies are expensive and almost impossible to scale. They are also limiting the number of things that they can do. And of course, experiential learning and learning by doing. VR provides experience anchored to the instruction, because students are inspired to discover for themselves. They have this chance to learn by doing rather than passively reading. Emotional reaction here is something that makes engage students the whole time, make experience memorable. As I said before, develops somehow creativity. There are some tools that can help boost the creativity and visual learning, because a lot of students are visual learners. So VR is really helpful for this group of learners. because instead of reading about things, these students actually see the things they are learning about. So being able to visualize complex functions or mechanisms makes them easier to comprehend. And users are ready to embrace new technology. Now, it's something that is actually, we talk about the game industry and how this also could be used in education. We can see how students, this new generation embraces new technology. And let students explore a profession, for instance, the profession of an astronaut, because VR has the ability to help broaden students' exposure to careers. It improves students' ability to imagine themselves in other shoes, and career expeditions like what it's like to work in a field. Students can explore a day in someone's career, see what the person is studying, understand what the person likes, doesn't like about their job. So this experience becomes familiar to students. And of course, it's something that improves school performance, according to some studies, because we're going to see later the opposite studies. And virtual tools, there are many virtual tools for real-world learning. This means that students from across the globe can come together using AR to solve real-world issues. Many universities are collaborating in different countries to create a more inclusive environment. And one of the ways virtual tools are being used is for offering language learning. Students can learn, for instance, English virtually from many parts of the world. You can use virtual tools to create a perfect learning environment, no matter where students might be. This case also talk about business. You can have collaborative projects, and workers from different countries can join in a collaborative virtual project and accomplish it. This is actually amazing. So online classroom, which is, of course, help tackle the monotony. Usually online classroom and distance learning is considered as boring, so VR can allow remote students to feel connected and boost engagement. How arts also can be combined with this, and how tutoring also is important. In art education, VR has made big achievements actually, because museums across the globe have gone global, and this provides art enthusiasts with a chance to visit virtual galleries and look at paintings virtually. And we talk about tutoring. Virtual reality is connecting tutors with students in ways never imagined before. Students that require extra instruction can receive the help they need using the headsets. Tutors can hold virtual classrooms and bring students together. In this way, they can draw on a virtual blackboard and more. So all these advantages, virtual reality is far more engaging than the current forms of learning. It encourages students' participation, and of course, it's something that demands constant attention and participation. We want to implement VR in the classroom. Of course, the main ways is to have a VR headset, and the second one, if we want to have it to create immersive classrooms. One of the most common, I think, effective ways of utilizing VR education is via virtual reality classroom or immersive classroom. It's a teaching room in which images are projected onto the internal walls of the room. This creates a virtual environment, and the students in this way can be transported to another different place without having to leave the classroom. Without the need of the VR headset, students can enjoy the experience together. Students can encourage to interact with each other. And unlike VR headsets, which some students can find difficult or uncomfortable to use, immersive classrooms are suitable for all students. It's inclusivity about the mentioned before. So students enjoy a more familiar environment. So we'll talk about VR headsets in the classroom. Teachers, of course, need the training about this. VR headsets are a common practical way of implementing this. If we talk about a classroom of 30 students, typically up to 15 headsets are required. The level of immersion, I think, is the main benefit of this. They provide a realistic experience I mentioned before. So what studies show that usually VR in primary school can be effective, but usually the most popular, when we talk about primary schools, is immersive classrooms. Immersive classrooms are more popular than VR headsets. Why? I think it's easy to guess, because every student can be easily monitored. And of course, because young children do not need to be shown how to use headset. This ensures the experience is smoother. This, of course, it provides opportunities for all and reduces social barriers at an early age. On the contrary, in secondary education, VR headsets are more popular than immersive classrooms, because older students have more interest in using headsets. They are better able than primary school students to use the headsets, and this requires less input and guidance from the teacher. So VR, of course, I mentioned before about how this is helpful for students with learning disabilities, because students can learn in a safe environment. And this has been found to be helpful for students, especially with autism. Studies show that children with autism can apply studies and can actually develop interpersonal skills, which is very important. But also can help, these students can learn about road safety or other skills in risk environments. So if we talk about the types of VR educational experiences, VR used virtual field trips I mentioned before. Google Expeditions, for instance, is a nice way to, it's a good example of an app which is designed to provide this experience. So this has to do with topics of geography, of history, of literature, by offering a deeply immersive sense of place and time. Many apps about this. Of course, we can all understand what are the benefits of virtual field trips. It's actually the most common ways in which VR is used in the classroom. Of course, are cost-effective for schools. Schools can save time and money, as said before, because school budgets are increasingly squeezed. The cost savings associated with travel tickets and time cannot be ignored. And of course, virtual reality are immersive, engaging, and all these benefits that we mentioned before. Another type of VR educational experience in the high training. So this is a nice solution for highly technical training fields such as military or medical industry. For instance, if we want to train students to learn how to understand the body, and biology also is very common, very helpful in this. Group learning allows students to communicate, interact with each other. Distance, as I mentioned before, distance learning bridges the gap between educators and learners through tutoring. This has amazing effects. So if we want to sum up all these properties, I could say that it is immersive, as I said before, create a feeling that users are in experience, in experience. You develop a history app, make history come alive for students. It's easy to use. So this eliminates to have special skills to interact with VR app. It's meaningful because, for instance, if you want to create a good VR experience, you need to have a good story. So this has to do with how we need to advance the art of storytelling. With something which is adaptable, VR should allow students to explore at their own pace. So the app should provide complete control over the level of difficulty. And designers should establish how students learn and then use this knowledge to design products that allow effective learning. Measurable, because each educational tool will know that should provide a measured impact. Teachers must be able to track the metrics of evaluation so they can measure the resulting knowledge of a subject. And talk about resources. If we want to bring AR or VR to the classroom, this doesn't have to be expensive. Available resources ranging from low-priced viewers or the cost-effective equipment or smartphones or anything which is affordable. We have many free apps which allow students to visit places, others like Time Looper, platforms like Immersive Education, Earbot, which actually gives opportunity to develop lesson plans with VR and AR technology. We can visit many repositories on this about any subject, and ensure ample physical space to reap the benefits of virtual reality in education. It's important to use VR equipment safely, of course, because a misstep could lead to injury. So educators should ensure the classroom physical environments are spacious and safe for VR explorers. Supervise and moderate VR use in classrooms, because research in the psychological aspect and impact of VR on students suggests that VR should be used moderately and under close supervision in school settings. Because children who usually overuse VR have problems with the eyesight, I mentioned before, or they have false memories of having physically visited a place that actually never visited. So the use is very important, moderate use. And another important thing is know when to use VR in the classroom. We said before, for instance, how it's important to bring academic subjects to life, offer new insights, refreshing perspectives. VR can't, of course, replace human interaction. It's something which is supplementary. It complements the traditional lesson. And VR also should be used as a social experience tool, supplemental learning tool, but also social tool. Of course, we need to develop a plan for VR learning, structured plan to maximize the use of VR within lesson plans and guide the students along the path. So define goals, expectations for students, set guidelines to ensure optimal learning experience. Teach empathy and cultural competence, because, as I said before, we can use it, visit different places. So this perspective can result in fostering empathy and cultural competencies, because it takes students outside the normal daily experience, and you can understand people's unique situations across the world. And this way you can become innovative education leader, because you can bring destination to classrooms, and you can make use of 3D modules, you can incorporate fun mysteries, you can maximize hands-on learning, remote learning, this can be improved, and keep a balance between the VR and current model of learning. It's, I think, the most important thing that I want to mention today. Of course, there are many challenges. We talk about challenges. We need to develop more content. I think one of the biggest challenges is the lack of content, the lack of resources, and all levels of education. The availability of VR headset, although it's more affordable, there are still some students who do not have the money to buy a VR headset, and this prevents them from taking advantage of VR learning. What we call cyber sickness, it's something which usually can prevent students from learning, but it's something that is diminishing as long as technology improves. Creates a new role for teachers in VR education, because the role of teachers changes from content delivery to content facilitation. Because teachers now are focused on know how to transfer the knowledge, but how to create conditions for exploring rather than providing ready-made knowledge. And changing understanding of immersive experiences because technology continues to push boundaries of how immersive VR can become. Every day we have new functionalities, new efficiencies, and VR has tried to break the barriers that I mentioned before, because it is inclusive. It makes it accessible to every student. So we talk about New Horizons. I think that this can change the world as we know it now, because these VR experiences will inspire also a whole new generation of students ready to innovate and change the world. Of course, we talk about the resources. We can mention some apps: Skyview app, for Wikipedia app, Microsoft HoloLens. It's amazing tool which is addressed to medical students and clinicians to learn about the human body using mixed reality. Blinks uses real-life footage. And STEAM's VR Museum, I think the majority of museums have now this possibility. Figment AR, HP Reveal, something that I have used also in my classroom, Storyfy, Magic Plan, Blipar, many tools that we can have at our disposal and we can leverage in our classroom, of course, with an appropriate structured lesson plan. Reality Pool, Catchy Worlds, which helps you catch flying letters with a device and place them into boxes to form words. Domino World AR, Orb or Reality Pool, World Brush, Jig Space, and this is what we have done with my students. We have created a 3D dimension timeline which depicts the history of particle physics from Marie Curie till today. And it incorporates text that also links for links with images and the biography of each natural scientist, each physicist, and there are also links in Wikipedia. There are also links for videos. So it's a multimedia environment, a three-dimensional timeline. Here's HP Reveal, I mentioned before, the app of augmented reality. My students try to depict actually the particle detector CMS, which is located at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and a virtual gallery with paintings of famous artists which depicted the particle CMS detector. Before concluding, I want to say that recently I was in a conference in Europe, and it was the news that Sweden, we all know how Sweden is one of the most tech-savvy countries in the world. Now, Sweden has announced that the new reform, it promotes a new reform which has to do with removal of every digital tool in the classroom. They return to all traditional books. It was something which, it was a bomb in the European Union. This has to do with digital de-escalation. Is this possible? Yes, it's possible. Sweden has started. Netherlands also follows this example. Why? Because the government, through the studies, all the studies showed that the children have who used digital tools who are used to use, we could say, overuse digital tools, and especially when we talk about VR. This had low performance in reading skills, mathematical skills, and scientific skills, also in PISA examinations, PISA competitions. So the results were that actually the performance of students were becoming poorer and poorer. If you ask my opinion, I don't believe that banning something is the solution. I could say that we need to find the golden recipe. The golden recipe is the combination, to combine both traditional learning and technology. Of course, we are create all these concerns about the health concerns, about the AI side I mentioned before, or the memory of students. All these research studies are there and are alarming, but banning something, I think, is not a solution. There are many amazing tools that can help us create an engaging classroom, but of course, this is supplementary and cannot replace a traditional learning, but of course, the facilitating role and mentoring of a teacher. So thank you very much for your attention, and now I'm ready for any discussion and question.
And impact our knowledge seeker surely. After your presentation, I hope our knowledge seeker can learn something new which was our only intention. Learn and grow together, IGP knowledge seeker. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Now, ma'am, it's time for our question answer session, which is the one more valuable part of our regular webinar. Honorable ma'am, please stay with us. After a short video, we will be back in our session part 2, which is the question answer part. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Welcome back to our participant. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Dear IGP knowledge seeker, please ask your question in the comment box as much as you want to know from our speaker. Thank you. After question answer, we have a webinar certification and online quiz competition. Our first question is from Bhalmurga. How to maximize the use of metaverse for fee without negative effects and cost?
Okay, first, consider this metaverse has the potential to extend the physical world using extended, augmented, and virtual reality technologies. So, if we talk about business, this has to do with how to engage with existing communities, how to allow customers to try products, how to create interactive and immersive events. I think most metaverse platforms don't require a fee to join. As long as you have the necessary hardware and the internet connection, you can enter and play for free. However, there are most platforms based on blockchain, like the Sandbox platform, that require the exchange of cryptocurrency for full functionality. But I think that most metaverse platforms do require the fee. So this is not a problem about metaverse.
Thank you so much,
about the
ma'am, for
cost.
your answer. Ma'am, our next question is from Lutram. How can we create an immersive experience using VR?
Okay, if we talk about how to create immersive virtual reality experiences in our classroom, we could say some steps now. We can suggest. Of course, it's something which is not easy, but it's a rewarding experience for both the creator and the user. So first, as I said before, we need a structured lesson plan. We need to define our goals for the experience, what we want for our users to feel, what kind of environment do we want to create. So we need to have a clear goal in mind that will help us stay focused and create a cohesive experience. This is the first one. The second step is to choose the platform. There are many platforms available for creating virtual reality experiences. We can choose game engines. For instance, like Unity or Unreal, we can use other digital tools. So we can choose that what best for us, what suits for teachers and what suits for our students, for our needs, and of course, what suits to other expertise. The third step is to create the environment. So once we have our goals and platform in place, so it's time to create the environment. This includes how to design our 3D models, textures, and lighting. We can make sure that the environment is optimized for VR with a focus on, of course, on performance. And let's not forget about interactivity, because interactivity is what sets virtual reality experiences apart from traditional media. How you can do this? For instance, you can include hand tracking or voice commands, physical controllers. So make sure that your interactivity is intuitive and responsive. And another step is how to test and iterate. Once you have work on a prototype, it's time to test now and iterate to get feedback from users and make adjustments to improve the experience. I think that following the steps, you can create an immersive virtual reality experience that engages. Choosing the right VR development platform is a very important step. And of course, consider the level of complexity of VR experience. That could be a simple project. That could be, if you want a simple project, then a drag and drop platform may be sufficient. If you want a more complex project, this could require a more advanced platform that allows for custom coding. Another factor that you need to consider also is the platform's compatibility with your hardware. So make sure that the platform you choose supports the VR headset you plan to use for your experience. And it's also necessary to consider the platform's community and support resources. That means that we can look this way for a platform with an active user community. And if there is a comprehensive documentation that can help us also in any case that may arise or any other trouble. So this has to do with how to create a meaningful VR learning experience has to do with the importance of user experience in VR. User experience is critical when we create immersive virtual reality experience. It's essential to keep in mind that VR is a new, unique medium, and the way users interact with it is different from other digital media. So the user interface should be intuitive and easy to use, with clear instructions and feedback. And we know that in virtual reality, a user experience is more than just the interface. It's also about creating an environment that feels really natural to the user. This means paying attention to details such as lighting and sound, because the users should feel as if they are truly inside the virtual world rather than just observing it from the outside. And to customize the experience, what this means that users should have control over their settings, such as graphics quality, sound levels, movement options, and this allows them to tailor the experience to the preferences and avoid any discomfort. So I think all these steps can help create a meaningful experience. Of course, it's not an easy task, as I mentioned before, but it's very it's very rewarding.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, again a question from Leutrim. How does haptics help enhance the sense of immersion when using a VR device? Thank you in advance.
The sense of immersion, okay. Haptic technology is technology that can create an experience of touch by applying forces, vibrations, or motions to the users. And of course, haptic communication, something which is closely related to VR that we mentioned before, because it has to do with tactile sensations, which allow users to feel and interact with virtual objects. So by integrating haptics into VR training solutions, learners can experience a heightened sense of realism. Realism would improve their muscle memory and spatial awareness. So, for instance, with sensors, we have sensors which are built into each part of the hand. Users can touch, can grab, can throw, can wave within a VR setting. So haptics increases the experience by providing a physical sensation for every action. Gloves, for instance, are highly useful for remote medical and technical job training scenarios. I mentioned before the scenario, how co-workers from different countries can work on collaborative projects and each one add its own contribution remotely. It's amazing. So haptic technology, haptic feedback, is this tactile perception which uses touch, and it's very, very useful in VR. And let's not forget that haptic actuators are converted usually electric and magnetic signals into tactile feedback responses. So I think that this haptic technology and virtual reality go hand in hand. Yes, I think it's another question I see here in the chat. It's about the difference between AR and VR. I mentioned before that AR uses a real-world setting, while VR is completely virtual. It's one difference. AR users can control the presence in the real world. On the other hand, VR users are controlled by the system. AR enhances both a virtual and real world, while VR only enhances a fictional reality. And the case of a headset, VR requires a headset device. On the other hand, AR can be accessed only with a smartphone. So virtual reality is about immersing ourselves in an entirely virtual world viewed through a screen in our headset. The real world outside us isn't part of the experience. On the other hand, augmented reality is about augmented or adding reality to reality. These are the main differences. And there's a combination, we talk about the combination of both realities, it's called mixed reality. It's about hybrid technology. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your answer. Ma'am, there is no more questions from our participants. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for your time in IGP. We have learned a lot from you with new topic. It will add some value to our day-to-day activity along with our academic and professional growth. Honorable ma'am, hope to see you again with a new topic and a new day. Thank you, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this great opportunity. Thank you.
Honorable ma'am, before we move to the next, if you want to leave this studio, you can.
Thank you.
Dear IGP Knowledge Seeker, it's time for the most engaging part of this webinar, which is an online quiz competition, which is our regular webinar activity. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. Now time for the online quiz competition. To join the online quiz competition properly, please follow my instruction carefully. For some technical problem, we cannot continue the quiz session from our website. So to join the quiz session, you have to go www.slack.com and the code is 2582358. I repeat the code 2582358. After a short video, we will start our quiz session. With 14 people, we are going to start our quiz session right now. First question is, virtual reality is an example of a synthetic learning environment. Is it true or false? Option 1 is the right answer. 100% people are right here in the leaderboard. Our second question is, a virtual reality game, option 1 board game, option 2 simulation game. Option 2 is the right answer. 93% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Flammy is holding the first position. Our third question is, Warcraft is a virtual reality game. Is it true or false? Option 1 is the right answer. 73% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Flammy is holding the first position. Our fourth question is, he can dash a virtual reality game. Option 1, play. Option 2, playing. Option 1 is the right answer. 100% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Flammy is holding the first position. Our fifth question is this a virtual reality game? Is it no? Option 1, no. Option 2, yes. Option 1 is the right answer. 13% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Bhanaragha is holding the first position. Our sixth question is, it is a virtual reality game. Is it true or false? Option 2 is the right answer. 27% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kingway is holding the first position. Our seventh question is Job Simulator a VR virtual reality game? Is it true or false? Option 1 is the right answer. 93% people are right here. In the leaderboard, Kingway is holding the first position. Our eighth question is, a man plays virtual reality smart game. Option 1, the smart. The option 2, avatar. Second last question of the session Option 1 is the right answer. 100% people are right here. Congratulations to our online quiz competition in your top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition in your top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. Congratulations to our online quiz competition in your top 10. Congratulations again. We will take a few minutes for finalizing the result. After that, we will issue our online quiz competition certificate on official Facebook page and group Institute of Global Professional. At the end of our session, we can say properly feed your skill. Never stop learning, cause life your best of teaching us. Be happy, stay safe. See you again and again. We want your participation in every program. If you want to live a happy life, try to a goal, not a people or things. Albert Einstein. Before I say or hit the unlike button, again wants to thank all IGP knowledge seekers for your active participation as always. See you again in the next session. Thank you.